Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
You see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their soul.
The room is silent, the tension palpable, as the world holds its collective breath. A storm of scandal has erupted, sending shockwaves through the music industry, and at the center of it all are four of the biggest names in entertainment: Rihanna, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy. It's a story of betrayal, alleged exploitation, and the crumbling facades of relationships once thought untouchable. Grab your popcorn, because this is one narrative you won't believe.
I hear that you're a big fan of Beyonce.
Rihanna, the global superstar turned business mogul, has always been revered for her unapologetic voice and fearless authenticity. But now she's taken things to an entirely new level. In recent weeks, Rihanna has shattered the silence, allegedly exposing Beyoncé and Diddy in ways no one saw coming. Once an admirer of Beyoncé, whom she famously called her biggest inspiration, Rihanna's tone has drastically shifted. The glowing praise has turned to deafening silence, and now to explosive accusations that have left fans reeling.
This is what I look for. When I see a success, I'm looking for anything
to say that they didn't do it on their own?
Detain it, yeah, detain it, not to say
That's not a good.
But what could have possibly happened to cause this dramatic fallout? Let's rewind the clock. Rihanna's journey into fame began under the mentorship of none other than Jay-Z. The young Barbadian beauty was plucked from obscurity by the Roc Nation mogul, but the story of her rise to stardom has long been tainted by whispers and rumors. And now, it seems, Rihanna is ready to tell her side of the story. According to shocking allegations, Rihanna revealed that during her early years in the industry, Jay-Z made inappropriate advances toward her, advances that allegedly crossed the line. The most chilling claim? That Jay-Z locked her in his office when she was just 17, pressuring her into signing a deal. There are two ways to leave this office, Jay allegedly told her, as Rihanna later recounted in disbelief. Through the door with a signed contract or through the window. The power imbalance was undeniable, and Rihanna, a teenager at the time, had little choice but to comply.
Genius.
Beyonce.
Gorgeous. A stab to my self-esteem.
But the plot thickens. It wasn't just Jay-Z who allegedly betrayed Rihanna's trust. In a stunning twist, Rihanna claims she turned to Beyoncé for support, believing that the woman she idolized would stand by her. But instead of solidarity, Rihanna found herself thrust into an even darker world. Beyoncé, Rihanna alleges, was not the empowering girl's girl she portrayed herself to be. Instead, Rihanna claims that Beyoncé pressured her to participate in Diddy's infamous freak-offs, wild and salacious gatherings, rumored to involve the biggest names in the industry. The insinuation? That Beyoncé and Diddy were not only close collaborators, but also partners in behavior that Rihanna found deeply troubling. And here's where the betrayal cuts even deeper. When Rihanna confided in Beyoncé about her discomfort and fear, she was met not with empathy, but with cold indifference. Beyoncé, Rihanna alleges, dismissed her concerns, leaving her feeling isolated and vulnerable. The emotional toll of these revelations is apparent as Rihanna's once close ties with the Carters began to unravel.
Your husband, Jay-Z, had a lot to do with Rihanna's early career. And back in February, he said he thought everyone should support her in that mess with Chris Brown.
But if you thought the accusations stopped there, think again. Enter Freddie P., a former member of Diddy's MTV show Making the Band, who dropped a bombshell of his own. Freddie revealed that the infamous cheesecake incident, when Diddy forced his bandmates to walk hours for a slice of cheesecake, wasn't just a humiliating power play. According to Freddie, it was for Beyoncé. Yes, you heard that right. Beyoncé was allegedly upstairs at the time, enjoying the spectacle of Freddie and his bandmates being humiliated for her dessert. She didn't care, Freddie said, his voice tinged with frustration. She ate that cake like nothing happened. This revelation has only fueled speculation about Beyoncé's alleged involvement in Diddy's darker dealings. Could this incident be a glimpse into the dynamics of their relationship and the lengths Beyoncé would allegedly go to maintain her image of power and control?
And I also want to thank all of the talented R&B women that came before me, like Lauryn Hill.
She was hot as fish grease.
And then came the jaw-dropping claims from rapper DaBaby, who described a private party at Diddy's Los Angeles mansion in 2020. According to DaBaby, Diddy cleared the room of most guests, leaving only a select few behind, including himself, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy. What happened next has left fans stunned. DaBaby alleges that Beyoncé approached him in a way that felt calculated, as though she were attempting to seduce him. She introduced herself like I didn't know who she was, DaBaby recounted. It felt off. Critics have since speculated that this encounter was part of a larger pattern of alleged misconduct involving the power couple and Diddy. If these claims weren't enough to send the Bayhive into a frenzy, Rihanna's refusal to play along with the alleged schemes has only added fuel to the fire. Industry insiders suggest that when Rihanna declined to participate in the freak-offs, she was met with swift retaliation. Her critically acclaimed album Anti, which many consider her magnum opus, was reportedly leaked on Tidal, a streaming platform owned by Beyoncé and Jay-Z. The leak forced Rihanna to release the album prematurely, sabotaging its rollout and potentially costing her millions in revenue. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's own album Lemonade received full promotional support, leading fans to draw their own conclusions about the timing.
You know, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder.
It's no wonder Rihanna has chosen to step back from music in recent years, focusing instead on her billion-dollar Fenty empire. The emotional scars from these alleged betrayals run deep, and it seems Rihanna is done staying quiet. Her recent actions suggest she's ready to blow the lid off an industry rife with secrets, and her bravery is resonating with fans who are rallying behind her. As the allegations continue to unfold, one thing is clear: the cracks in the seemingly perfect facades of Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy are impossible to ignore. What once appeared to be a united front is now unraveling into a tangled web of accusations, betrayals, and shocking revelations. And with Rihanna at the center of it all, her voice unwavering, the world is left asking, what will happen next? Stay tuned, this story is far from over.
Love y'all, we love y'all. We want y'all to get it right, at least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't gotta clap at everything.
And just when we thought we had uncovered it all, the story takes an even darker, more sinister turn. Rihanna's refusal to participate in the alleged freak-offs didn't just lead to a leaked album or a strained relationship with Beyoncé and Jay-Z. It may have sparked an all-out campaign to sabotage her career. The rumors swirling around this alleged retaliation are enough to make anyone's jaw drop. Could it be that the power couple, hailed as music royalty, used their influence to clip Rihanna's wings when she chose her own path? And if so, how deep does this conspiracy go? Let's start with the catastrophic leak of Rihanna's Anti album on Tidal, a platform Beyoncé and Jay-Z co-own. The timing couldn't have been more suspicious. Here was Rihanna, ready to release what would become one of her most beloved albums, only to find it prematurely dumped online, a move that forced her to release it ahead of schedule with little fanfare. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's Lemonade, which dropped shortly afterward, received a full marketing blow. Fans quickly noticed the disparity. Why was one album given the royal treatment while the other was seemingly swept under the rug? Rihanna's supporters, who call themselves the Navy, were livid, and they weren't afraid to call out the apparent favoritism.
Threats, and those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice.
But what if this alleged favoritism wasn't just a one-time thing? Some fans have pointed out a pattern of behavior that seems to suggest Beyoncé and Jay-Z have a history of overshadowing other artists in their orbit. Consider the timing of Beyoncé's surprise album drops, which have frequently coincided with releases from other major stars, leaving them in the shadows. And let's not forget how Tidal, the streaming platform owned by the power couple, has been accused of prioritizing their projects over others. Could this be part of a larger strategy to maintain their reign at the top, even at the expense of those they once called protégé? Rihanna's case may not be as isolated as it seems, and the tension didn't stop there when Rihanna suddenly clapped back at Beyoncé with a cryptic tweet that read, "How'd it feel down there on your knees?" The internet exploded. Was this a direct response to Beyoncé's infamous Bow Down track, where she demanded her competitors bow down? Fans certainly thought so. Rihanna's sharp words seemed to confirm what everyone had suspected for years. There was no love lost between these two powerhouses. But what made this feud so personal? Was it jealousy over Rihanna's success, or was it something more insidious, something rooted in decades of secrets and lies?
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
It's impossible to ignore the fact that Rihanna's rise to prominence came at a time when the industry was beginning to shift. Her unapologetic style, her fearless approach to business, and her ability to connect with fans on a deeply personal level made her a force to be reckoned with. For Beyoncé and Jay-Z, who had long been at the top of the food chain, this must have been a wake-up call. Rihanna wasn't just another artist, she was a disruptor. And disruptors, as we know, often face pushback from the establishment. Could this feud be less about personal grievances and more about maintaining control in an industry that thrives on hierarchy?
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70, that's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
The animosity between Beyoncé and Rihanna was never more evident than during the infamous Tidal press conference. The event, meant to promote their joint business venture, should have been a celebration of music's biggest stars coming together for a common cause. Instead, it became a glaring display of their fractured relationship. Witnesses claimed the tension in the room was palpable. Beyoncé and Rihanna reportedly refused to stand next to each other or even acknowledge one another's presence. The whole thing was a circus, one source revealed. Handlers had to choreograph every moment to keep them apart. It was obvious to everyone that they couldn't stand each other. And while the photos from the event show carefully curated smiles, the cracks in their facade couldn't be more obvious. And yet, despite the tension at public events, both women have been careful to avoid directly addressing their alleged feud. Beyoncé, often praised for her polished image and tightly controlled narrative, has remained silent on the matter. Rihanna, on the other hand, has let her actions and her subtle social media jabs do the talking. Could this be a calculated move on Beyoncé's part to avoid fanning the flames? Or is it a sign that the alleged feud is even more complicated than we realize? Whatever the case, the silence from both sides has only fueled speculation, leaving fans to piece together the puzzle on their own.
Responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back in his...
Here's where things get even more tangled. Rihanna's refusal to play by the so-called rules of the industry and her subsequent fallout with Beyoncé and Jay-Z may have had ripple effects that went far beyond her music career. Some insiders suggest that Rihanna's decision to step away from music altogether was less about her thriving Fenty empire and more about protecting herself from the toxic environment she had endured for years. Rihanna knows what she went through and doesn't want to deal with it again, especially when she's already built an empire outside of music.
Obviously, it's subjective because, it's music and it's opinion-based, but, some things...
Still, there's a lingering question that no one has been able to answer. Why now? Why has Rihanna chosen this moment to allegedly speak out about her past experiences with Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy? Some speculate that the timing isn't coincidental, that it's tied to her recent return to the spotlight with her Super Bowl performance and her growing family. Perhaps Rihanna, now more confident and secure than ever, feels ready to reclaim her narrative. And maybe she's sending a message to the industry. She's done playing by their rules, and she's not afraid to expose the truth. And speaking of Fenty, let's not forget how Rihanna's success in the beauty industry has thrown a wrench into the narrative. While Beyoncé has long been seen as the queen of the music world, Rihanna has quietly built a billion-dollar brand that has made her one of the wealthiest women in entertainment. Could this newfound financial independence be another reason for the alleged sabotage? After all, Rihanna no longer needs to rely on the music industry or its gatekeepers to stay relevant. And that kind of independence can be threatening to those who thrive on control.
At that time, I remember thinking, I can't be mad at her because that is what the media portrayed.
But perhaps the most shocking revelation of all came from a recent insider tip regarding Beyoncé's alleged involvement in Diddy's secretive gatherings. According to whispers in the industry, Beyoncé wasn't just a passive participant. She was allegedly a willing collaborator. And for Rihanna, who had once idolized Beyoncé, this betrayal cut the deepest. Rihanna thought she could trust her, but quickly realized Beyoncé was not who she appeared to be. It was a wake-up call.
Jay-Z got his put by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You gotta imagine, the feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped.
What makes this story even more intriguing is the role of public perception. Despite the allegations, Beyoncé and Jay-Z still enjoy an almost mythical status in the music world. Their fans are fiercely loyal, often quick to dismiss any criticism as baseless rumors or attempts to tarnish their legacy. But as more details emerge, even the most devoted members of the Beyhive are starting to ask questions. Could it be that the carefully curated image of perfection is just that, an image? And if so, what does that mean for the countless artists who have fallen under their influence over the years? The cracks in their facade are becoming harder to ignore, and the world is watching closely.
I sat there and I thought about how the media portrays Black men and how that is typical of the things that they would focus on.
The public's reaction to these allegations has been nothing short of explosive. Social media has been flooded with debates, with fans taking sides and dissecting every detail of the unfolding drama. The Navy has been vocal in their support of Rihanna, with many praising her courage for allegedly exposing the truth. She's the real queen. Beyoncé preaches about empowering women, but Rihanna actually lives it. Meanwhile, the Beyhive has come to Beyoncé's defense, dismissing the allegations as baseless rumors. But as the dust settles, one question remains. Where does this leave Rihanna, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z? The feud has already left a lasting impact on the music industry, with fans and insiders alike questioning the true dynamics behind the scenes. Will Rihanna ever return to music, or has the alleged betrayal pushed her away for good? And what about Beyoncé and Jay-Z? Will they address the allegations, or will they continue to let their silence speak volumes? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. With new details emerging every day, the world is left to wonder what other secrets lie beneath the surface. Will Rihanna continue to speak out, or will she retreat into the safety of her thriving business empire? And how will Beyoncé and Jay-Z's reputations hold up under the weight of these allegations? Only time will tell. For now, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the alleged feud between Rihanna and Beyoncé? Do you believe the claims of sabotage, or is this just another case of industry gossip gone wild? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. One thing's for sure, the truth will come out eventually, and when it does, the music industry may never be the same.